Delhi, as a city, definitely has a lot to offer when it comes to art. There are many museums, there are a lot of galleries, there are a lot of institutions, there are also a lot of fairs which happen. And yet, we felt that there was no particular place where one could slow down and sort of just take it a little slow around now. And Delhi as a city, as it is extremely fast. The art world is even faster than that. So it's just how do you actually slow things down in a way where you can surround yourself around art and enjoy it. So that's where the thing kind of stemmed for Kalakaar. Kalakaar is basically you want to create a space where art doesn't feel a little transactional or intimidating per se. So that's when we wanted to create a space where anybody and everybody is welcome to sort of just go in a zone where you're surrounded by art.
Just building on from that, for us, the main goal behind setting up Kalakaar was not to fill a gap, but to give collectors who are just starting on this journey of collection a stepping stone into the world of art. Because for a lot of people who are interested to start collecting or start even learning about art, not necessarily collecting, they don't know where to begin. So either they're trying to evolve their aesthetic sensibilities or just trying to educate themselves. Most options which are available are either too academic in nature, where you're supposed to have some sort of pre-learned knowledge which you're then building up on, or have some sort of understanding already. The idea was to give collectors a place which feels like home to them, where they can kick back, relax, and then learn at their own pace, and let their journey evolve from here onwards. Whether it's be aesthetic journey as to what period excites you, where do you want to learn more about, what visually appeals to you, be it realism, be it surrealism, abstraction. So to give them a place where they can see it all in a situation which is more familiar to them versus a more academic in nature environment. So, like I said, it's the Kalakaar is the first stepping stone for a newer collector into the world of art and into their collection journey. So in terms of the curatorial approach and programming at Kalakaar, it differs from any other primary gallery which is either showing a particular artist or a particular movement in one particular exhibition. The idea is to give a viewer a sense of the depth and breadth of art in India and visual art in India and how it's created over the span of the years. It's unlike a traditional gallery where everything on the wall is what the exhibition is and it's for sale. The idea for us is that everything on the wall acts as a guide. It acts as a visual stimulant where people can see the works, see what resonates with them, and then we can dig deeper into that particular period or that particular aesthetic. It's not necessarily what's on the wall is what's available. It's a guide to what all is actually out there, and then we can help them dig deeper and find works which actually find meaning with them. So keeping in that mind, the first show is Sacred and Spiritual.
Yeah, and even under sacred and spiritual, like what Shivin said, that it's not one particular artist what we're showcasing. It's like how would say a nature work speak with a tantric work next to each other? Because when you see multiple works at a gallery, they're very different than how you see them at your own lived-in space. So, when you've got your sofas, you've got your carpets, and you are not only going to put works of one particular artist throughout your house. So here, this is actually a space where you can see the works how they be in your living room as well. So that's how we're trying to do, just showcasing and putting works, which different works which try to speak to each other.
See, the idea behind Sacred and Spiritual was to give a viewer an understanding of how spirituality and religiosity has been depicted in art, because effectively in India that's how the narrative of visual art started, from temple bronzes to Ajanta and Ellora carvings, etc. Spirituality played a pivotal role in how visual art evolved in India. So that's why we picked it as the first subject of our salon sessions, wherein people could, by the theme of sacred and spirituality, see how art in India evolved. Wherein in temple bronzes and in stone carvings, it was a realist depiction of what God and goddess would be in a two-dimensional or three-dimensional form. In miniature, that became a little more animated, where you up close, personal, you're humanizing almost what God would look like if they were interacting with you. And then if you move way down the line in moderns and senior contemporaries, where abstraction got involved, wherein spirituality and religiosity sort of merged, where expression of spirituality doesn't necessarily mean the depiction of God in work. So just by looking at how that progressed over the course of years, you could see how art in India evolved, and that was our idea behind the curatorial approach of what we would want as a first time collector, or someone who's keen to learn more about art, how it progressed through the narrative of spirituality and religiosity. Acquisitions were 100% very difficult for us, because especially in terms of temple bronzes and antiques and all, because that requires a whole host of different regulations and licensing, etc. So we wanted to do something which we are 100% comfortable with and knowledgeable about. What we also do is we engage subject matter experts who have expertise in miniature, in antiquities, etc., who could guide us as to what is relevant, what is not relevant, what is right, what is wrong. That's how we were able to refine, say, the miniatures that we're depicting. We have works from the Mewar and Rajput school to Pahadi school, so that people can see the difference between two forms of miniatures which were created at a similar point in time. And that's how we built on the curation.
And just adding on to that, it's just that, how spirituality and, religion sort of, resonated with the different artists out there. How did they bring out spirituality within their work? And, like he said, so, like, of course we've covered miniatures, but, then going on to the Bengal school too, like, how we're trying to show how it's differentiated from the period when, the Pali Ghats were painted, how animated and, two-dimensional those works were, to going on to the early Bengal period, when oil sort of came into the picture, and, the oil works which are there, and the Western influence, when the British came in, like that realism, how did that sort of change over here, and, how did the Bengal artists also sort of evolve from, say, the Kalakaar works into, getting the realism into the picture. So it's just really interesting to see, how in one space we're trying to capture a little of, how different artists in different periods have sort of evolved too. Like, we also have some South Indian artists' works as well, where, it's so different to see, like, abstractionism, of course, that is there, but like, in terms of surrealism as well, like, there's this artwork which we have, Birth of Ganesh, it's like when you see Ganesh, he was definitely not born, he was manifested. So how did the artist actually put that on like a canvas? I think it's just beautiful to see, what art can actually do, and how it, just different artists depict that.
Our personal journeys really actually guided the creation of Kalakaar. I was fortunate enough to be born into a family where art was a part of every aspect of life. My mother's an art restorer, so I've grown up looking at modern masters and pre-modern art, which used to come for restoration, which many people don't actually get access to. I used to spend time with collectors, curators, historians, and get to learn one-on-one with them. That led me to the Rhode Island School of Design, where I eventually studied art and art history and so on and so forth, and developed my personal aesthetic and my personal understanding of art and what I like to collect as an individual collector. But the idea behind Kalakaar was, how can I make that more accessibility which I had available to a larger audience, because interest was growing and is continuing to grow amongst the larger population as to how do we get started. I was fortunate enough to be able to spend time with relevant people, look at relevant works, and guide myself as to how I would like to collect. And the idea in Kalakaar is to give that same opportunity and access to newer collectors and seasoned collectors who are looking to develop their collection in a particular way, that access to the right people, the right art, and help them along their journey as well.
And my journey was completely different. I'm from a pure logistics, tech, machine learning background. I moved back from Boston last year, when I was working. So completely not from this world, but completely mesmerized, I still remember, Shivin and I, we started dating 5 years back. Almost all our conversations were somewhat, around art. We would be, going on like bidding wars, even at auctions. I still remember we would, like, he was also in person as well. So, we would be visiting museums, we would be actually bidding on in auctions, trying to compete, okay, are we going to be getting this work or not? So, it's just all our conversations sort of, started around art, but our journeys have been very different. Even my background, I sort of know how systems work. I know how to bring structure to a business, how to grow it, how to strategize it, and how to actually go from 0 to 1. I love building things. So that's where my background sort of comes from. But both of us as collectors, we sort of felt that, we love works which are sort of, intellectually rigorous yet, emotionally resonant. So it's like, what is it that speaks to us? But in that journey itself, obviously Shivin was very fortunate, he could sit down with people, and obviously being married to him, I was very fortunate, I had the access to, sit down with collectors, just brainstorm, talk about, okay, how should I even start my collection journey? So it's just something, which both of us are trying to build that for the people out there, because, we've had so many of our friends who come up to us and they're like, okay, we want to start collecting, we love, they would come to our house and they'd be like, oh my god, we love your house, we want to sort of, we also want to, have access and we want to start collecting. So it sort of stemmed from a personal thing, but, both of us started our personal collection journey and sort of, just giving it back to, people and have them enjoy, the last, I would say 5 years for me, and like, I don't know, I think he collected his first artwork when he was 13. And even for his wedding, I think like, he was chasing like, multiple works for many years, and like, that's what like, he wanted us at his wedding. We're not trying to make art super accessible, we're trying to just simplify and amplify the experience around art. That's what we're trying to do at Kalakaar. And somewhat, completely, but the complexity actually is great, because art has so many layers. You've got different schools, you've got different movements, you've got different, mediums as well.
See, for us, it's the idea behind it is where people are in an unhurried, uncrowded, sort of slowed down setting where they can spend more time with the work. So the work, the more they spend time with it, the the more complexity actually arises out of the work. So it's not a question of like I said, Kalakaar is a starting point. It's not the final destination. So for a lot of works, for example, if someone is really interested in the colonial school, we're showing them 2 examples of work where the more time they spend and they find more appreciation towards that art, more works can be made available to them related to that particular school and that particular field. So Kalakaar is the first step for them. It's a guiding light, and then once they understand what exactly are they resonating with, more works come. They can spend as much time as they want here, develop their understanding, their relationship with that particular artwork, and then start their collecting journey from. For us, it's very new right now. The journey has just started for us as well. So the idea behind Kalakaar, like we said, is the first stepping stone for a lot of collectors, and that process has already started. We are seeing a lot of people approaching us and trying to start their collecting journey, trying to build their understanding of what art resonates with them, what do they enjoy, because ultimately they have to live with the work. They have to hang it in their house, they have to see it every day, and until you don't visually enjoy it, there's no point. So that journey has started for quite a few people. People have been coming back and inquiring a lot more about certain types of art which resonates with them. It's fulfilling to see that actually turning into reality, and we do feel as time progresses that's only going to get deeper and deeper, because the appreciation for art has just started in India, and there's a long way ahead for that and for us as well.
Like you said, it's just a stepping stone for us, and the journey's just begun, and we can't wait to see, what the different, what the world has to offer actually right now. But there was actually a moment, which I felt, it was not like a fulfillment moment, but it was just like a sense of happiness which I felt. We were hosting one of our sessions, and there were a few people here, and we have got like different rooms, in the salon. and like all of us were all crowded around, this one particular corner, and people were eating. And when I was, just bidding my goodbyes to people, and I just walked into the other room, and there was, there was a gentleman who was literally sitting on one of, the couches, and just sitting and just staring at the work, and just completely, in his own zone. And when I, walked up to him after, can I help you? Would you need anything? He's like, no, I'm just truly mesmerized with this loving being here. And I still remember he was sitting in front of the Sohankali work. That in itself, it's got a lot of abstractions, it's got a lot of tantric work. You just somewhat go in your own little trance. And he said, I'm just sitting here, sipping on my wine and gone in my trance. So I felt that was like a little bit of a moment for me where I felt that, if I could do that, or at least the Kalakaar has a space to do that for one individual, I don't know what else is in store.
Yeah, and the idea is
And
the idea is to give people that space where they're comfortable enough to sit here for as long as they want to interact with the work in a way that would appeal to them, in a space which is not overly crowded or not. There's no pressure of any sense that you look at the works and leave. Like, you can spend as much time as you want here, interact with the work in a way that you deem fit, and progress from there. And that's why we call it a salon, and that's how we've designed the space to be in a more lived in, homely feeling versus a white wall gallery. I think for us, as we progress, what we firstly see Kalakaar as is a more cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary area. Modern art is our anchor, is where we're starting from. But I do not see ourselves limiting ourselves to that, because as we progress and as we dive deeper into the world of art, expanding from visual art to music, to sound, etc., how they actually interact with one another is what we are looking to build out at present at Kalakaar. And then obviously the idea is to expand reach to as many people as possible. And whether be it physically, digitally, how that would work, that is underway already. So yeah, it's a long journey of educating a lot of people and starting them off on their collecting journey, and yeah, we're just getting started with that.
Pretty much answered the work, and I would say, like, just going a little more deeper into, the different, like you said, we don't want to just restrict ourselves to, just the moderns and, sort of like build on that. And yeah, different cities at some point, 100% would, be in the plan.
I think as a natural progression, it would be Bombay. Because the appreciation of art is already there, and that's an easier progression for us. But we do see a lot of potential in Hyderabad and Bangalore. When we talk of art, predominantly of what's called popularity in India, it's predominantly all to do with art which has been either stemmed from Delhi or Bombay. So growing there organically first is easier, but I do see a lot of potential in the southern part of India where people are craving that access, but there isn't much. So that's our next step as well, eventually. I think that's a pretty deep question. Warmth and openness is what our approach is. See, even though we may not be a public gallery where people can come and walk in any minute, the idea is for people to approach, and access is always given. It's where we want people to, and surely it's not open to a public walkthrough because we don't want it to ever be crowded. We just manage who comes in at what time so that they feel comfortable, they don't feel awkward in any way. So the idea is where we want people to feel warm, feel welcomed, and start on their collecting journey with us.
I would just say that, Kalakaar will not be like a moment, it sort of feel like a relationship. We would love to have relationships, with the people who come in, just build on, like a long-term collector journey as well. We would love to help people, like enjoy art as much as, we go through, and share, our love and passion with them. So just say that, come as you are and stay for as long as you like. Kalakaar is open doors, and we'd love to, welcome them.